I make films, and I'm French. I live in the United States. I'm in the art world. I'm an artist. I make films, and early on, none of television or film world were interested in my film. The only people that were interested in my film in general were the art world, was the art world. So I never thought of me as an artist, but the art world kind of like took me on their side, and it's a way for me to survive, and I accept being, they call it like a video artist, but I make films.
Whisper. What?
It was a creative time where pop art and all those different art systems were created. So I came to New York because it seems to be more open in terms of to accept different style of filmmaking, and turns out I was right, because that's where I started my career as in the art world. I started thinking about photography because my father when he abandoned the house, he also abandoned a camera called the Rolleiflex. It's a German camera, and you opened it, and then inside you look, and you see the image on the glass, like really sharp and everything. Then I just played for many years. I looked into it, and I would go like this, because it was so realistic. So I made film without making films, just looking into the camera. I was in Paris at 17, 18. I didn't have a job or anything, and somehow I figured out how to become assistant to a fashion photographer. And then, of course, I made photo myself, but then, for some reason, after I was drafted, when I came out of the army, I don't know, I just decided I was rebel myself against everything, and or not really against photography, but it seemed to me I wanted to make films. And that's how it started. And then suddenly video happened. So I came to New York to make a film, my last film with sound. In 1970, like the end of 69, 70, I bought a video camera, and from now on to those things, it's been on video. But it's film, video is film. Everything that's moving with sound is film. That's what film means. In few words, my archives is built like a vocabulary, meaning it's a vocabulary of cinema, and it's images that mean something. There's a bird, there's a pool, there is this, there is that, there is a close-up, there is people crying, there is a birth, and then I film television, there is a murder, and then, you know, it just goes all the time, and then it piles up from 1970 to now, different images, different things, different stuff, like that. It was like this. So then, if I want to write something, I can just take this, and I say something that has nothing to do with what was happening then, and then. It becomes a new, because the images are so strong, you like, you know, it tells you something. It's been extremely successful in many ways. Residency is quite pleasant and conductive for me to actually create works. What's good about residency too is to stay sometimes. So you feel the city, you feel the people that live there. You know, only 3 months, so I walk around with my friend and the director of the Kunsthalle, Stefano Raboli Pansera. So my experience of it is also like city experience, but it's extraordinary. I mean, the way people live in face of like, you know, chaos. The Thai people, it needed for me that time to understand a bit of the culture, and I find it very beautiful, and also extremely way more zen, or more like somehow more calm about the chaos than in America right now. I wanted to do something about Bangkok. I didn't know if I could do it. But then I realized I was working with my camera from the car rides because they're pretty long when we go places. And I would see all those motorcycle people behind it going by all the time. And I figured they were the most important people anyway. They're like the class that carry the other people to work, to carry things, deliver food and everything, and carry other people from one place to another. I could figure out some kind of a portrait of how to portray this group that is so important to the vitality of Bangkok. I'm always interested in nature and flowers. And of course, now here, there is flowers around the whole year. So I started to think about making flowers, but of course, flowers are flowers. They're all beautiful. We agree, in general, unless you're a psychopath, or something like this. I hate flowers, they're disgusting. So I made those flowers my way, meaning I was thinking about colors because everybody knows the flowers anyway. So I just kind of also rapidly went back. Every time we walk outside in nature, I just like, but like very close, too close, and so it becomes more like a color abstraction, a reference to abstraction. Actually, it's very realistic too. And now there is those two screens that are next to each other, and everything is flashing even a bit faster than the style of film I made for Bangkok city. Some of my work that I've done over the years, I don't do that much anymore, but at the time in the 70s and the 80s. So this is like 78, and this is this woman who now is a very famous painter, but she had to die in order, and she was my best friend. She was born in 1900. People have kind of denied her what she deserved. And they always think, oh, she's just a painter, she paints figures and everything. It's not that important. We don't do that anymore. It turns out in the 80s, figurative was coming back. She asked me to go, and this woman that I knew a little bit, she's pregnant, and she's making a nude pregnant, and she said to me I should come and film it because she's starting the painting, and if I want to. I came like maybe 3-4 times at different times, so you can see her also like that. And then I had this. Voyage to the center of the phone lines is, well, the best way for me to do video when you edit is also to change the sound, to add soundtracks. My sound, I will always bring something else into it that doesn't exist. I got the hold of this scanner in 1990. It was stolen. There was a big box of it. Somebody was selling it at the corner of the street, all the stolen things to people that wanted it. Nobody wanted them anyway. But I bought one and tried it, and then I realized I could have phone conversation. For like 6 months, 8 months, when I go to my studio, sometimes I would put it on and put my tape recorder on, and then just hear people, and then change and stuff like this, and I would be recording everything. And then, of course, there is no visual. And I had this in '86, after I came out of being not well mentally. I was in the countryside by the sea. And then I did sunset and like different lights of like stormy or something like this. I would go there with a tripod and film it. That would have made reference to some painters from the 19th century and stuff like this. I mean, this is my luck of this trip, because those things don't really work all the time that way. I was just taking a break from installing and pre-installing, and I just made a right turn out of the Kunsthalle, and it was a corner, and there was this people working there, and I just looked for a while, and I felt like it was so interesting. See the development and what happened to this business where everybody comes from all over the corner on motorcycle and cars and trucks and bring packages, and it's kind of like a ballet of at the opera, but better. I think the space makes the video better. Also, Stefano Raboli-Pansera worked with me on to make the selection and everything. We worked together on that. The space is extraordinary, and it was like really, for me, like a miracle.